Burned out from all the holiday drinking? Don't worry, I've got your dry January covered, no matter how you want to tackle it. Today we're making a margarita 3 ways: classic, cannabis infused, and 0 proof. After we make the drinks, we'll taste test them and go over the pros and cons of each margarita. Let's start out with a classic margarita with tequila. We'll use this recipe as the baseline for our cannabis and mocktail versions as well. So this is the margarita recipe I normally use. I'm going to start out with 2 ounces or 60 milliliters of tequila. I'm using G4 today. This is one of my favorite blancos, additive free, really agave forward. Some other tequilas I like now are Lalo, that's another additive free, maybe a little less flavorful than this one. And Espolon has always been one of my favorite mixers as well. Not certified additive free, but whatever. And I'm going to put in half an ounce of Cointreau. And for our 2 other margaritas, of course, we'll have to figure out substitutions to make for these. Then another common ingredient in all of our margaritas is going to be half an ounce of agave nectar and a full ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. And I've already decorated this glass with tahini. I just put it over half of it so you kind of have a choice. I'm going to do all 3 of them the same way. And whenever I make margaritas, I serve them over pebble ice and I shake them with pebble ice and I just open pour them. It's easy. And there's our classic margarita with tequila. And all 3 will get a nice little lime wheel as garnish. Next, we'll replace the alcohol with Calmezzi cannabis infused agave spirit. And I chose a green glass for that. This is my first time trying Calmezzi. It's designed to be used as a 1-to-1 substitution for alcohol. Every 2 ounces contains 6.6 milligrams of THC, which I think is a good starting dosage for someone new to products like this. If it doesn't do anything for you, you can always try more later. I've also experimented with the Nowadays brand, and I have a couple videos on that. Check them out after this if you're interested in more THC-infused drinks. I bought this bottle at my local Total Wine store for $29.99 US. So this recipe is going to be exactly the same, except I'm kicking out the tequila for this and kicking out the Cointreau for a non-alcoholic triple sec. You could use Cointreau if you want, but I just kind of wanted to give a completely non-alcoholic version today. Now, since I've never had this before, I'm actually going to try a little bit before I put it in the drink just to describe what it tastes like on its own. It's just kind of a cloudy color. It looks kind of like lime juice. Since this flavor is called agave, I just imagine they're kind of going for the ballpark of tequila, but we'll see. It definitely does taste different than the Nowadays. I think it has a more hemp-forward flavor for sure. I don't know, it's actually pretty good, so I can't wait to see what the margarita is like. So I'm gonna put 2 ounces and then half an ounce of our non-alcoholic triple sec. This definitely has more of like a bitter aftertaste than the Nowadays, which isn't a bad thing. Then I'm gonna do half an ounce of agave nectar and a full ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. Alright, there's our cannabis-infused margarita. Last but not least, we'll replace the alcohol in the classic margarita with a non-alcoholic spirit. I had planned on trying 7 Giants for the first time. However, my bottle arrived with a broken cork and it was leaking in the box. I notified the Amazon seller, but I haven't heard anything back. So, since I was in Total Wine buying the Calmezzi anyway, I grabbed a bottle of Ritual Tequila Alternative. This doesn't taste like much on its own, and even Ritual advises you to use it as a cocktail ingredient rather than drinking it straight. I've tasted it by itself before and it's just kind of like peppery water, and it's pretty expensive. So we're gonna put 2 ounces of this, just like our other 2. It'll be just like the last one, but I'm putting this instead of the THC infused spirit. And this non-alcoholic triple sec, I've found this at a grocery store. You could probably make this by infusing a simple syrup with orange peels. And again, half an ounce of agave nectar and a full ounce of lime juice. And there's our 0 proof margarita. Here are all 3 of our margaritas. I'm gonna do a taste test and kind of go over the pros and cons of each one. So starting out, we have our classic margarita. So the pros are that it tastes great, and the effects of alcohol are pretty predictable. People are used to it. There's a lot of tequilas and mezcals to experiment with, and they're legal everywhere. Yeah, just a classic margarita with one of my favorite tequilas. That's enough to make me quit dry January on the 2nd.
Then I'm out.
Not that I was doing it. Don't shoot the messenger, but I'm going over the cons now, and to me the biggest con is this is the highest in calories. It's 220 calories a drink, and 140 of that is the tequila and Cointreau. Tequila, and really any other 80 proof spirit, is going to be about 70 calories an ounce, and then the Cointreau is also 40%, but it's really sweet. So this is more like 100 calories an ounce. And then the other con is the potential for hangovers the next day. Alcohol is going to dehydrate you, so I mean, I don't want to be a party pooper, but it's not the best thing for you. But it definitely tastes great and is fun to drink. Now I'm going to taste the THC infused margarita. That one, I mean, for lack of a better word, it really does taste like kind of grassy. I don't think it tastes as much like a margarita as just like a Sprite or something with like a vegetal flavor to it. It doesn't taste bad, and like I'd probably have a couple of these. And I might do an update after I turn the camera off and drink this about the effects I get, because it'll be my first time having this brand. So the pros of this one, calorie count, we've slashed it from 220 to only 75, as this stuff is like 20 calories for the 2 ounces. You could cut it down even more if you used artificial sugar or less sweetener. Some people do get an effect from this. It's a little less predictable. For me, it usually kicks in about 15 minutes. For some people, it doesn't kick in at all. And for some people, it might do a little too much. So that's definitely a con. It varies so much from person to person. And people who get drug tested at work will test positive. So some people just can't drink this because they're worried about losing their job. So finally, we will taste test the one with the tequila alternative. This is non-alcoholic, no calories. It's also kind of expensive at $30 a bottle, so you're paying alcohol prices for what I think is like a peppery water. It tastes pretty good in this. I actually prefer the taste of this one. If I was ranking them by taste, I think they're already in order 1, 2, and 3. But the pros of this one, I mean, you're not going to have any effects from this, positive or negative, but if you're at a party of mine and you're not drinking alcohol for whatever reason, and I hand you something that looks and tastes like this instead of just a boring soda or something, you're probably going to feel more like you're part of the festivities. Like, I hope that people would feel kind of special and included. Obviously, just like the THC one, you're not going to have that hangover or anxiety the next day. I think all 3 of these are good in their own way. Which one of these margaritas is your favorite? Do you prefer a fully sober mocktail, a classic with tequila, or the cannabis-infused margarita? How are you going to spend dry January? Leave a comment below and let me know. As usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers! So, I promised an update after trying this. It's 20 minutes after I finished the drink. It didn't do anything.
But it didn't do nothing.
And I'm gonna finish the non-alcoholic one and try using more of this next time. See you next time.